Curry 56, our finest vintage from the collection. A woody bouquet that smells like feet. Also from the Combine, a guaranteed record time in the 40. What happens if Isaiah Bond doesn't deliver? And the NFL news of the day, Matthew Stafford sticking with the Los Angeles Rams. Let's go around the horn.
Yeah, baby, I told you, I knew it.
You want points? You want points for saying the quarterback you had is the quarterback that you remain?
Yes. I knew
You're not getting it. Here's a mute. Warriors 121, Magic 115 is how we start. The half quarter to end the second. Paolo Banchero's reaction to that. And from that moment on, the Dubs comeback and the Curry show gave most threes in a game, that record that's held by Klay Thompson. He gave it a scare. That's 14. He got 12. 56 points for Curry. Golden State is now circling that 6th seed that they said was their target. They're a half game back there. They've won 5 straight. Bob Ryan, around the horn to you with Curry rejuvenated and Golden State revived. Do you believe title contending is on the plate here for this team?
Well, for Steph, that was just a little bit better than usual night at the office. Nothing more, nothing we haven't seen before. He's phenomenal. He's the most influential player of the 21st century. However, don't get carried away, folks. What this is an uptick. It's a reason for the fans to have interest in the team. There is no championship here. They're not beating Oklahoma City in the finals. They're not beating Denver. They're not beating Memphis. They're not beating, they might not even beat the Lakers. But they want to be interesting and annoying, all right? And so that's what they are. They've become relevant once again. No more, no less.
There was a time that was the motto of this show. Interesting, but a little annoying. And I embrace that. Wow, okay, some cold water from our Hall of Famer, Harry Lyles Jr. You're next up. Do you see a contender now in this rejuvenated Golden State team?
Tony, I picked up what you were putting down. I'm going to say that I am a believer in this Warriors team. And look, this was not just a typical Steph outburst. Like, this was even an outburst by Steph's own standards, right? Like, they came back from 17 points. He outscored them 22-21 in that third quarter. His 391 feet of made baskets in this game was the most in his entire career in terms of where he let the ball fly and when it meets the basket.
I didn't know that.
So the fact that we've seen this, and then you heard Draymond talk about after the game that there is a sense of urgency from Steph Curry. The fact that he's got that, we've seen that he talked about, hey, when he's making shots, that makes us want to defend better. If this is what it's going to be for Golden State, I will give them a chance.
All right, I have to stop down just for a second for Bob Ryan's face when Harry gave an incredible piece of information, whether you call it a stat, an analytic, whatever you call it. 391 feet. That was the combined distance of all the made baskets for Steph Curry last night. To that you say what, Bob Ryan?
I say that wait till Caitlin Clark gets going.
Okay. I thought you were harumphing at it.
395 will be the over.
I think you were harumphing. Sorry about that. Justin Tinsley, around the horn to you. What you're seeing with these Warriors.
Tony, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to go to the nearest bodega and get me the warmest slice of humble pie you can find, because this is better than I expected. They're 7-1 since trading for Jimmy Butler. Steph's averaging 30. And look, I don't know if the NBA has officially declared a holiday for a player, but February 27th is Steph Curry Day. Based off what he did last night, based off what he did in 2013 in the Garden, and based off what he did in 2016 to get the double bang from Mike Breen. Just look at what this guy did last night. He had 51 points after the first quarter. He did this on 25 shots, the second fewest attempts in a 55-point game ever. And oh yeah, by the way, the Magic entered last night first in the league in opponents' points per game. So look, they still really don't have a lot of size, which concerns me. But if you get playoff Jimmy and napalm Steph with Kuminga coming back, that's enough to scare any team out west.
And they didn't even get anything from Butler last night, right?
No.
Basket. Bill Plaschke, around the horn to you.
They're good. They're 7-1. Jimmy Butler's changed everything. But they're not beating the Lakers. They're not beating the Grizzlies. They're not going to go past the first round. They don't have a big man. They don't have the inside power to do that. But Steph Curry is unbelievable. You have to know the only other player to score as many points in a game at that age is Kobe Bryant when he scored 60 in his final game. That's amazing. His 24 feet average basket is the best in recorded NBA history. So Steph Curry is amazing. Jimmy Butler is great. They're revived. They're still not getting out of the first round.
Because they don't have a big man. I think you could say the same of another team maybe that you watch quite often. You're putting a lot of stock into that. Okay, I hear what you're saying. Last word, anyone? Anyone want any more on Golden State and the run they're on? You know, they said the target was the 6th seed, which, okay, I mean, when they said it, they were 3 games out. Now they're a half game out of the 6th seed. There's more space between 6 and 5 and 5 and 4, of course. So maybe that's not within the realm of possibility. But this team now not looking like the plan that they were about a month ago. We'll move on. Lakers 111, Timberwolves 102. Quote, I have no idea what's going on. End quote. Yet again, another motto for this show. That one's usually from our viewers. Luka on another 1-for-9 game from 3 for him. Said he had no idea. But the Lakers won. Minnesota side, you saw Anthony Edwards got 2 technicals, number 15 and number 16. That's suspension time in the league. That's Boogie Cousins territory that he hit this number before March. Bill, I want your takeaway from last night. What do you think's bigger, that Luka's a little lost right now, or that Edwards is going to be lost for a game for the Timberwolves?
Oh, it's all about Luka. He has the worst 4-game home shooting percentage in Laker history, yet we see how great he is. Wow. He had a triple-double. He had a double-double the night before. They're 3-0 against winning teams. He's changed everything. He's changed the entire feeling of the team. The Lakers can win a championship. They can win an NBA championship, this team, the way he plays, the way they're responding to him, the way he's opening the floor for everybody. No, Luka, so this, as poor as he's shooting, that just shows how good he is in other areas.
All right, but you're not worried that they don't have a big man right now, it sounds like, in their championship dreams. Justin Tinsley, around the horn to you.
I'm not worried about Luka shooting at all, because once those shots start falling, you can cancel Christmas. And the thing that's really energizing the Lakers right now is their defense. Over the last 15 games, they have the highest defensive rating in the league. So to me, the bigger story right here is Anthony Edwards. Not only are you costing yourself $5,000, but you're also costing your team. This is different from someone like Rasheed Wallace. Anthony Edwards is the best player on his team. And look, just ask Draymond Green how these technicals, once they start stacking up, they can derail a season. So look, I understand he's frustrated with some of the calls, and he may have beef with some of that, but he has to stay on the floor, Tony, because he's not just the straw. He's the straw and the drink for that team.
Harry Lells Jr. around the horn to you.
Yeah, look, Luka is going to be okay. He's been dealing with that calf strain since the beginning of the year. He dealt with it again during the middle of the season. And the Lakers are still winning, first in defensive efficiency over the last month. So he'll probably figure that out, and they will be okay. The thing that is more concerning is absolutely the fact that Anthony Edwards, Tony, you mentioned DeMarcus Cousins, is the fastest in 8 seasons to reach the Sweet 16, if you will, before March. So the fact that we've seen that from him is not good at all. And here's the other thing with this. It's not even just a short-term habit. To me, this is a greater sign of, hey, we have a young superstar in the NBA who is having the best season of his career, and they've already lost more games than they did all of last season, and it's not even March 1st yet. To me, that could be a long-term issue if he continues to be unhappy and then perhaps decides he doesn't want to be in Minnesota at some point.
Bob Ryan, around the horn to you.
I find myself in rare agreement with my friend in Los Angeles with regard to Luka Doncic and his overall value and the nature of his game, which far transcends scoring.
Thank you, Bob.
He'll be fine. I wouldn't worry about it. But, of course, he always goes too far. And in this case, he made the Lakers a championship contender. Ha! Now, let's get to Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards is worrying me. Someone's got to get to him. Someone's got to tell him enough is enough. Someone's got to remind him about Rasheed Wallace. You know what the issue with Rasheed Wallace was, folks? He squandered a Hall of Fame talent with his behavior and his attitude. He was good enough talent to go to the Hall of Fame, and he kept himself short. Anthony Edwards, don't you dare follow that path. You are the best young player around. You are very, very good. You're among the greatest young players in the game. Your future, who knows? But you can derail yourself if you don't stop this nonsense.
Just a follow-up, though, on the Timberwolves. You know, they had the breakout almost ahead of schedule year last year. Then they rebuilt the team mid-stride. Edwards' season, some numbers are up, like scoring, but there has been some inefficiency, Bob. Do you still feel the same way about the Timberwolves, or are they still coming to...
Oh, no. No, the Timberwolves are not what we thought they were going to be. There's no question. I'm just focusing on him and his future and his status and all that. The team, no. That ship left the dock.
Well, while I have you here, Bob, there was a question after about face of the game, which is already a banned phrase on this here show because you people have used it to such a degree it means nothing. But Edwards says he doesn't even want that title. That is going to be Victor Wembanyama. He just posited out there. LeBron was also asked about this and said, you people have gotten weird talking about it. Points to LeBron for that. Bob, floor is yours on this bold discussion of face of the game.
Well, it's an artificial discussion. It's a product of the times. It's a product of shows like ours and talk show radio. It's nonsense. You know when the only time there truly and utterly was a face of the game? That if you stopped a man on the street and said, name me one basketball player in the world, one. Bob Cousy in the 50s. That was the face of the game. We haven't had anything like that since, and we'll never have anything like that again.
Yes, I understand that. You can have a face of the game. Some think it can't be an international player, which just blows. Of course, it can be an international player. What are we talking about? Bob, Bill, you want to chime in here?
LeBron James is the face of the game. He's done a tremendous job being the face of the game. He's just upset that people are mad about him at the All-Star game. But he's the face of the game.
But this phrase did not exist, right? It didn't exist until shows like ours just started using them casually, just very casually. But the fact that players have to answer to it every game, I think is a little silly. Take a break. Buy yourself next. Just when it looked like he was out, they have pulled him back in. Montana's ski rendezvous or not, Stafford not going to the Raiders or Giants or Steelers. News today from LA, restructured deal, a Ram, he remains. Bill Plaschke, what to buy, what to sell from this Rams retainer and Raiders miss?
I can't buy this enough. This is so perfect. I knew it was going to happen. It's all because Matthew Stafford, he took less money to stay with the Rams because he values championships. He values continuity. He values Sean McVay. He's a football player. He's not a mercenary. Good for him.
Justin Tinsley.
I'm a happily married man, and I know when a wife makes a decision, and all you can be like, yep, that's what we're doing, and that's what it sounds like here. He didn't need to leave the Rams. They're a team that's conditioned. They could be championship contenders going into next season if they played this offseason correctly.
Harry Lyles Jr.?
Yeah, Tony, I'm buying that this is the best thing for both teams. Like Justin just mentioned, the fact that he is on the Rams makes them a Super Bowl contender. We saw it from them last year. They were a play away from the NFC Championship game. We saw what they did to the Buffalo Bills in that shootout. And then I think for the Raiders, it doesn't make sense to plug and play a guy like this if you're not immediately going to be a contender. Like, yes, Brock Bowers had a good rookie season. You still need a running back. You still need receiving help. To me, that just never made sense as a fit.
Bob Ryan.
He's doing what he should have done. He's doing the thing that makes the most common sense. But I can understand he may have been flattered to be wooed by the great Tom Brady. I'm sure that we all know what it's like to be wanted and to be flattered. Giants, ridiculous. Never made any sense at all.
Buy or sell, too. The report from Front Office Sports, Ryan Glasspiegel. Hard Knocks, Spring Edition. No NFL team wanted it. Here's the reasoning listed in the report. No team wanted it because of what happened with the Giants and GM Joe Shade and the phone call with Saquon Barkley last year. Wow. So the team getting this spring HBO treatment, UNC football and Bill Belichick. Harry, buy or sell it all?
I am buying a little bit of everything. Can I buy that no team could squarely shoot itself in the foot better than the Giants did on this show last year? So, from that perspective, NFL teams, you can volunteer yourself for this thing. It'll probably be okay. From the Belichick and North Carolina side, I think it's a good play just to give your program some more exposure. I do think it is sort of interesting given how private a lot of these college teams are nowadays, especially given the evolving world with NIL and how things are run from behind the scenes. So I'm sort of surprised Belichick is willing to sort of put some of that stuff out there. We'll still tell, given on the show, but I think overall it's a good thing.
I'm not surprised that the NFL teams are shying away. This is telling us North Carolina is entered into a new phase. This is a great coup for them. But what really intrigues me is the idea of Bill Belichick's growing public persona and the fact that he's clearly entered into his second childhood and is enjoying himself in a way that he never allowed himself to do all this time in the NFL.
Bill Plaschke.
I'd be surprised if every college team didn't want to do this. This is perfect for North Carolina. It's perfect for the new NIL era. Pull back the curtain on what college football is like. Great publicity for them. It's a great move for North Carolina, and any team should have wanted that.
Tinsley.
Yeah, I really like this. It's a nice change of pace, especially since the NFL is treating Hard Knocks like the new Madden curse. Look, Bill Belichick is always going to be interested, and now that he's this social butterfly, it makes it even more so. So I really love the exposure for the program, and I think it's going to give us another glimpse into another side of college football.
Buy or sell 3, Combine? Guys starting to run and lift.
Probably me, what I do in football, because it's a lot on your body. You know, Tony, he's a great player, but you got to do a lot in football.
Travis Hunter says it's harder to be a two-way player in football than baseball. Buy or sell, Justin?
You know, we're comparing unicorns here, but I buy it because football is way more physically demanding, and there's a ton of mental capacity that goes into playing wide receiver and cornerback. This dude played nearly 1,500 snaps last year. That's 300 more than any FBS player. So, look, I love Shohei Ohtani. I'm on the board of directors of his fan club, but I think I'm going with Travis Hunter.
Doesn't sound like you're the board of directors of the fan club if you think
Sure doesn't.
two-way football is harder than two-way baseball.
I said we're comparing unicorns.
Bill Plaschke?
All right, Justin, I will hear about dropping from the fan club. You're out. Out of the fan club. I'm in the fan club. Shohei, there's no question baseball's harder. Shohei's doing two different sports. Pitching and hitting are two different sports. Travis is doing the same sport. Much harder for Shohei.
Bob Ryan?
The same physical attributes make you good in both receiving a pass and preventing someone else from receiving one or tackling. We know that. It's a harder game physically. We all know that. But come on, Bill's right. Again, my God, I'm surprised I'm saying this. It's harder to pitch.
Of course you're saying this.
This is a guy that could win a Cy Young and a batting title in the same year. There's nobody else on earth could do that. I'm sorry.
Harry Lyles Jr.
No, I'm sorry. First off, pitching and hitting, they're two different things in the same sport. But I don't believe that this translation of one position to the other in football is the easiest thing. Yes, you have to have speed and athleticism and instincts to do two very different things, and to also have the physical stature to be athletic enough to do both of those things at the NFL level, mind you. Like the idea
I
that
thought you were.
he's
Oh,
even
no. Okay,
thinking
so
of
you were
doing
with
this
Hunter here.
is unfathomable to me.
Okay. I
Like
thought
the
the way you
we've seen this in
started, you were
college.
with. Well, isn't Ohtani
Yeah,
doing it
I'm
at
with
the
Travis Hunter.
MLB level or MLB's level? I mean, is it? Wow. We've seen the Deion Sanders before.
Nah, man.
We've seen. No one had seen Ohtani at the level of Ohtani since Babe Ruth, and no one really did it like Ohtani. Okay, here's our last word on this. Bill Plaschke, Justin Tinsley, thank you for your time today. Harry Lyles Jr.
Can't believe Bob
and
Ryan
Bob
made it.
Ryan. That's our showdown next. This is our 4,902nd episode of Around the Horn. This is what I love about this show. This is our first ever meeting and showdown between Harry Lyles Jr. and Bob Ryan. Also, on this day in 1992, the birth of Harry Lyles Jr., and at that point, Bob was covering his 4,900th basketball game. That's what I love about you two as well. Let's go buy or sell. Penguins, 5. Flyers, 4. Pittsburgh pulled Nedeljkovic down 0-3. He did not like it. Look at this. But it worked. Tomasino, Carlson, Malkin, winner in overtime. Harry, you think things were awkward after the game, or you think everybody could celebrate a team win?
I think perhaps a little awkward, but I think it's also okay. Look, first off, I appreciate the performance art. I mean, he really got his money's worth in terms of using the stick, slamming the door, all that. And plus, Mike Sullivan said he loved his reaction because he said it means he cares. So if he's cool with it, I'm pretty sure the whole team is probably cool with it as well.
Bob?
I'm sure it was kumbaya. I'm sure they had, that's Alex being Alex. They've seen stuff before. Hockey is different than the other sports. There are certain things endemic to hockey that do not exist in other sports, and things can happen, and I'm sure it was just another night in the arena.
I agree with
More
both of you
juice, that's
guys.
all.
I do. I think he could take credit for the win ever since he slammed that door. When one door shut, another door opened for the Penguins. Showdown 2. A guarantee for a record in the 40 at the Combine from Texas receiver Isaiah Bond. Here we go. He says he's going to break the record, which was set last year by Texas receiver Xavier Worthy, 4.21, when he runs tomorrow. Bob, does he have to break it now that he said it there? Will you see him differently if he falls short?
Who cares? It doesn't matter for anything. Can you play football? That's what matters. It's something for his resume, bragging rights. Yeah. You couldn't name who holds the record. Nobody cares.
Just told you who held the
No,
record.
hold on a second, Bob.
Yeah,
This
I
still
know,
matters because I
because-
know Marcel wrote an article last year as well trying to say that the 40-yard dash is not an exact measurement as to how good of a football player you're going to be. Hey, man, a 4.2 or a 4.1 is there a 4.2 or a 4.1? If he can do it, I absolutely want to see it.
Absolutely. And you know what? It may not get you to who you're going to be in the NFL, but it could get you drafted a few picks earlier. And that's what happened last year with Worthy and Kansas City. We'll move on. golf. 2 holes in one round yesterday for Dale Whitnell in the DP Tour. He shot a 9 under 63. 2 hole in run in the same round, though. Show that down versus PGA Tour yesterday in Palm Beach, a 59 for Jake Knapp. Harry, what's more impressive for a pro golfer, 2 hole-in-ones in a round or a 59?
Tone, I'm going with the 59. I would rather get the 59 and then spend the rest of my life trying to chase 2 aces. And plus, if they happen on different days, then you just have more moments to celebrate. So I'm going with the 59.
Brian?
I know that 2 changes the equation to 67 million to 1, but anybody on this panel could make a hole-in-one, and nobody here could shoot 59 if they played for the next million years.
You may be right on that one, Bob. But the birthday man, Harry Lyles Jr., is getting a FaceTime.
The NCAA Football Committee is going to consider having a rule change where on an ensuing play, if the ball has been spotted and medical personnel come out, that team would then be penalized either by having a timeout removed, or if that team does not have a timeout, they would have a 5-yard penalty given to them. I think it's possibly a good idea, but it's all fun and games until you do that to a player that's not actually injured, or that actually is injured, rather.
Slippery slope is what you're saying. We'll see you Monday.